My name is Christina Walsh, and this presentation is on cybersecurity. The 21st century is thus far known as the Internet era. This means that technology is in the forefront of society and is influential with decision making. There are many positives of the Internet that lead it to remain held in such a high position in people's daily lives. Many people only notice the positives and forget that negatives may be involved as well. Although the Internet is an amazing part of today's society, people need to become more aware of the dangers and negatives that come along, such as cyberbullying, cybercrime, cyber terrorists, viruses, hackers, online predators, and more. People should be free to use the internet, but only if they are aware of the consequences. Throughout this presentation, I will give you background on cybersecurity and how it affects people. I will analyze three major components of computer safety. I will provide solutions to how I think can help users be more aware, and I will relate it to the course CSC 101. Earlier in the semester, I asked 10 people the question, do you feel safe when using the computer and internet? Majority of the people said yes, 2 said no, and 3 said unsure. I wonder if the people who said yes know all the factors that go into cybersecurity. In today's day and age, cybercriminals and self-safety with technology is a major concern. When thinking of cyber safety, people mainly think of children and cyberbullies, but another major concern with technology and the internet are cyber terrorists. More and more people's personal information is able to be accessed online, which is leading to more crimes. Users need to become more aware of the crimes and how to promote their own self-safety. Not only are these cyber attacks on single victims, but also on companies, large companies, that have an effect on many people. A recent cyber attack was on Sony Pictures because of their movie The Interview. In the movie, the main characters attack a world leader from North Korea, so in reality, this country was offended. Thus, them feeling attacked led to the personal information, led to the Sony company to actually be attacked, but over cyberspace. Employees' emails and personal information were exposed, and the threats escalated after the supposed hackers told theaters not to play the movie. Not only was this hack a violation of privacy, but also scared many people. Another attack was between Google and China. Google was receiving several cyber attacks from China, but their government was upset and suspect of turning a blind eye. To retaliate, Google made some changes and announced it would no longer censor Chinese search results any longer. This caused somewhat of a cyber battle and led to the question of how to have freedom and security on the internet. This also refers to virtual sex offenders. They prowl the internet and look for vulnerable users, whom they can steal identity or find ways to abduct them. There are many factors involved in computer safety, so users need to be aware so they can protect themselves. Recently, I had the joy of interviewing one of my friends and getting their opinions on cybersecurity.
Security on the internet, like with social media, I feel like it's not as good as it could be because anybody can pretty much get into any of your sites. That's like some way or another. Um, that's why people take down their Facebooks whenever they are trying to apply for a job, because jobs can look at your photos and what you're up to on your Facebook. Businesses can see what webpages you are using and looking at, and then when you are on any social media or any other website, they can find a way to take the ads and, depending on what you've been looking at, change the theme of the ads to have like the same effect. Like if you've been like on a bunch of different like clothing websites, they try and take the ads and they make sure that it's all like clothing because it's what they change it towards your interests. I feel safe using the computer most of the time unless I'm on social media. That's time I feel remotely like unsafe.
Alright, so now that you got the opinion of another internet user, let's move on to the analysis. Three major components of computer safety are user awareness, cyber terrorist attacks, and online predators. People are unaware of how much their safety and well-being is at risk when using certain websites. User awareness. Majority of Americans agree internet safety and security is extremely important to the economy and society. However, they are not aware of how many aspects there are to cyber safety. The most common concern is identity theft, and least common is someone hacking into their network. People assume that the most susceptible to cybercrime are children who are carefree in their internet usage. Although this is true, there are different levels of crime through cyberspace that do not affect them as much as adults. As you can see, based on Phoenix SPI for OPC, 66% of users are extremely concerned with their safety on the internet. 12% are mildly concerned, and the other 12% are barely or not at all concerned. An aspect that users seem to be least aware of, and therefore least worried about, is cybercrime through terrorist actions. Cyber terrorism. Many users are unaware that cyber terrorists even exist. As technology grows, so does cybercrime. The country with the most cybercrime is America, with 23%, and second to it is China, with 9%. These two countries have had several incidents with one another through cyber terrorists. As previously stated on the background page, one example of this is with Google in China. For more information on this, you can visit this website that goes into more detail. Basically, Chinese cyber terrorists were attacking Google, so they changed the privacy settings. On Chinese searches to be more restricted. Attacks similar to this led to somewhat of a cyber battle as retaliation occurs back and forth between both parties. Eventually it stops, but users have to be aware of the safety issues such as this. Practically all terrorist groups are using the internet and have established their own websites. This is a statement by an article that was edited by K. J. Shankar and written by Freeberger and Crane. The internet allows these groups to more effectively run their operations and are less likely to be detected. Cyber terrorism often leads to a cyber battle or a cyber war. The government is spending more money towards the internet and cybercrime because the amount it's increasing is becoming more prominent in society. International agreements have even been adopted so that countries are more aware and careful of these terrorist attacks among one another. Online predators. Online predators and pedophiles is probably the most well-known form of cybercrime. The cyber sexual offenders who prowl the internet looking for vulnerable children are called travelers by the FBI. They are most often first-time offenders, so they often seem harmless by background. Young people who use the internet are not careful. They use social media to communicate with their friends and will post personal information that can sometimes be accessed by those who should not be able to see it. Other popular sites that have potentially dangerous outcomes are dating sites, or most recently, dating apps. Certain sites require a background check, but most often they're not free. Most young persons use the free sites or apps, such as Tinder. Tinder is a dating app that matches people based on look and proximity. It only uses first names and shows mutual friends and interests from Facebook. Nowadays, these sites have several features making them safer, but there's no way to make them perfectly safe. It depends on people using them and their honesty. Every country has online predators and criminals, but the legality is different. For example, in Canada, the age of consent is 14, with certain exceptions, and in the United States, the age is 18. No matter what, these sexual predators are online and searching for innocent, unaware users that they can take advantage of. An article by Eric Gartz states, users can contribute to their own safety by adopting various practices that reduce vulnerability to cyber infection and compromise. The main solution to cybersecurity problem is user awareness. Companies and the government can only do so much. This is a growing and much needed field. There are several ways to make users aware of the potential harms of using technology. One is through school and work. Professors and bosses should make users aware by having posters present with images and facts. They can also have lessons a certain number of times per year, keeping students or employees up to date on cyber terrorist attacks and a progression of ways to keep themselves safe while using the internet. Another way to bring user awareness is through television shows, online videos, or even movies. When a viewer watches a TV show at any age, they pay attention to the lesson and the outcomes for those involved. An example of a current show that does this is MTV's Eye Candy. This show stars Victoria Justice as the lead character who is stalked and harassed by a cyber criminal that found her off a dating site or dating app similar to Tinder. Viewers can usually somewhat relate to what's going on and see themselves in a similar situation. This would especially be strong in younger viewers. Older adults need to raise their awareness so they can help younger adults and children learn about computer safety. Computer privacy in today's society is becoming a growing concern. This is relevant to CSC 101 because we have been spending the semester creating and coding a website. Creators should be aware of the different aspects of cyber safety so they can provide some security or at least information and warnings to their users. As you will later see, my website is based on this topic of safety on the internet, so my users will become more educated on this subject. In all, safety on the internet, computer, and with technology in general has to be promoted. It is something that users have to start doing for themselves. The internet is used in the privacy of one's home, but information from each user's activity can be tracked. Thus, the more aware people are, the safer they will be. It is a major concern of the youth generations because they are not as knowledgeable on the subject, but everyone should be careful. If users were more aware of the issues involved with internet security, they would be more careful. This would lead to less crime and more security while still having freedom in usage. If you are interested on looking further in depth on this information, you can head to my website. There you will also find the references I used to aid in the finding of my information on this topic. Thank you so very much for watching.